Koné number 81. Koné number 81, a French Baroque-style mansion in Beijing built around 1921, is legendary for being the city's most famous haunted house. The main ghost story involves a nationalist, Kuomintang, official's mistress who allegedly hanged herself in the, at the time, abandoned building after being abandoned herself in 1949. Suicidal mistress. Following the 1949 Communist Revolution, it is said a KMT officer's mistress hanged herself from the rafters after being left behind, with her spirit haunting the premises ever since. Mysterious noises and disappearances. Locals have reported hearing screams, cries, and seeing lights/shadows in the abandoned building, particularly during thunderstorms. Vanishing workers. A popular, likely urban legend, claims that during construction work in the 2000s, 3 workers disappeared in the basement. The priest's disappearance. Another story suggests a British priest building the house in the early 20th century vanished, with rumors of a secret tunnel in the crypt. Ownership. Contrary to the legend, the house was never owned by a KMT officer. It was built by a French-born Chinese woman and, for a time, used by the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Beijing. Cultural Revolution. The house was used for various purposes over the years and was briefly occupied by Red Guards during the 1960s, which added to its spooky reputation. Renovation. The house was closed for renovations around 2016 to repair the dilapidated structure. Film influence. The 2014 3D horror film The House That Never Dies, 81, is based on these legends, significantly increasing the site's popularity with tourists and urban explorers. He building remains a, now restored, landmark that attracts thrill seekers, although the diocese has previously denied it is haunted. Fengmen Village. While these stories have made it a popular spot for paranormal research, investigators often point to the village's isolation and poor natural conditions as the real reasons for its abandonment. Would you like to know about the scientific debunking of these myths or perhaps more about its historical background during the Ming Dynasty? Located in the remote mountains of Henan Province, is widely regarded as China's #1 ghost village. Once a thriving community during the Ming and Qing dynasties, it was completely abandoned by the late 1970s, leaving behind roughly 39 eerie, empty buildings. The legends surrounding the village often focus on several terrifying phenomena. The haunted master's chair. The most famous legend involves a wooden armchair found in one of the village's grandest houses. It is said that anyone who sits in the chair will face a mysterious and untimely death. The disembodied voices. Hikers and urban explorers frequently report hearing their names being called by a strange, gloomy voice while walking through the village at night. Bizarre scratches. Many visitors have reportedly left the village with unexplained scratches on their necks or faces, even if they never felt anything touch them. The corpse guardians. Local folklore suggests a custom of keeping corpses for 3 years before burial, leading to the belief that the spirits of the deceased corpse guardians refuse to leave their former homes. The Burma Inn in Beijing. The Burma Inn, sometimes referred to as the Burma Inn in Beijing, is a well-known location in Chinese urban legend, famously associated with a tragic ghost story involving a murder-suicide. According to the popular legend, The haunting stems from an incident many years ago reported in sources as far back as 2013 involving a hotel chef and a guest. The poisoning, for reasons that remain unknown or are often described as accidental, a chef at the inn poisoned a guest's meal. The suicide, stricken by intense guilt after the guest died, the chef committed suicide by stabbing himself to death. The haunting, because the chef died by his own hand before he could face justice, it is said that the guest was denied a proper trial. As a result, the spirit of the guest is rumored to haunt the hotel's corridors at night, perpetually searching for the chef to seek his revenge. Locals and paranormal enthusiasts claim that the most spectral activity occurs at night. Those who believe the inn is haunted describe a general sense of unease or the feeling of being watched while walking through the hotel's halls. While the Buma Inn is a staple of haunted Beijing lists, it is often mentioned alongside other famous legends like the Kaone No. 81 Mansion and the Forbidden City. The Forbidden City is widely considered one of the most haunted locations in China. With over 600 years of history involving imperial conspiracies, executions, and tragic deaths, it is a focal point for numerous chilling legends. The Faceless Woman, 1995 incident. Perhaps the most cited modern encounter involves a security guard who spotted a woman in black walking away. After chasing her to a corner and ordering her to turn around, he discovered she had no face, only hair covering a smooth, blank visage. The Pearl Concubines. Consort Gen, the Pearl Concubine, was allegedly thrown into a small well on the orders of Empress Dowager Cixi in 1900. Locals and staff have reported hearing faint, rhythmic sobbing near the well, and the sound of fabric dragging against stone as if she is being pulled down repeatedly. The White Silk Specters. Legend has it that Emperor Yongle ordered the slaughter of nearly 3,000 ladies-in-waiting in 1421. Visitors have reported seeing pieces of white silk floating through the air, believed to be the ghostly remnants of the nooses used during mass executions. The Ghost Gate. Donghuamen. The East Glorious Gate is nicknamed the Ghost Gate. Unlike other gates with 81 doornails, 9x9, it only has 72, an even yin number associated with the dead. Historically, the coffins of emperors were moved through this gate, leading to the belief that spirits use it to enter and exit the palace. The Yin and Yang Path. A narrow corridor known as the Eastern Passage is said to divide into two paths on moonless nights, one for the living and one for the dead. It was historically used by eunuchs to transport bodies out of the palace under the cover of night. High thresholds. Almost every doorway in the Forbidden City has a high step. According to traditional folklore shared by guides, these were designed because ghosts cannot jump, effectively trapping them within specific rooms to prevent them from roaming. Night closure. The Palace Museum closes strictly at 5 p.m. While management officially denies any paranormal activity, popular belief holds that the early closure is to avoid the mysterious phenomena that begin as soon as the sun starts to set. Are you interested in the historical events behind these legends, or would you like to hear about other haunted locations in Beijing? The legend surrounding the former residence of Cao Suekin, author of the Chinese classic Dream of the Red Chamber, is one of Beijing's most famous haunted urban myths. The story is primarily linked to his residence in a narrow hutong, which has seen various uses over the centuries. Ghost story. Location. The reputed site is a traditional courtyard house, often cited as being located at 33 Xiashihu Hutong in the Zaidan area of the Zikan district. The haunting. Local residents have reported hearing the faint, spectral sounds of traditional stringed and woodwind instruments playing late at night. The spirit. These musical sounds are reportedly accompanied by the voice of a woman reciting poetry. Context. These hauntings are often connected to the tragic, impoverished, and dramatic life of Cao Swekin, whose wealthy family was purged and reduced to poverty, mirroring the decline of the Jia family in his famous novel. Prince Gong's mansion, Gongwangfu, one of the best preserved royal residences in Beijing, is the subject of several eerie local legends. While today it is a major tourist attraction, its dark past as the home of the infamously corrupt official He Shen has fueled rumors of hauntings for centuries. The most famous ghost story centers on Feng Shi, the primary wife of He Shen. The tragedy. According to legend, Feng Shi fell into a deep, terminal depression following the death of her youngest son in battle. Despite He Shen hiring monks to pray for her and even building special structures to please her, she died of a broken heart. The haunting. Local lore suggests her spirit never left the mansion. Visitors and staff have reportedly heard the sounds of a woman crying echoing through the corridors late at night. Sightings. Security guards at the site have occasionally claimed to see female ghosts in white, wandering through the expansive gardens and rock areas after dark. He Shen was known for his extreme wealth and his harem of roughly 80 concubines. Restless escorts. Rumors persist that the mansion is also haunted by the ghosts of former concubines and escorts who lived and died within the estate's walls. Atmosphere. Some visitors describe a sudden drop in temperature or a feeling of being watched while exploring the more secluded areas of the garden, which is famously filled with thousands of bat carvings symbolizing blessings. Fu. A sharp contrast to the mansion's ghostly reputation. Would you like to know more about the specific spots in the garden where these sightings are most common, or are you interested in other haunted locations in Beijing? The Great Wall of China is famously considered one of the most haunted locations in China. While it's a monumental feat of engineering, it is also known as the longest cemetery on Earth, due to the estimated 1 million workers who died during its construction. The legend of Mengjiangde. The most famous ghost story associated with the wall is the legend of Mengjiangde. The tragedy. During the Qin dynasty, Meng Jiangnu's husband, Fan Qi Liang, was forced into labor on the wall just after their wedding. The search. When winter approached, she traveled a vast distance to bring him warm clothes, only to discover he had died of exhaustion and his body was entombed within the wall. The collapse. Her grief was so powerful that her bitter weeping caused a section of the wall to collapse, revealing her husband's bones so she could give him a proper burial. Beyond ancient legends, modern visitors and locals report various paranormal phenomena. The Wild Wall. Many reports center on the Wild Wall sections north of Beijing, which remain unrestored and overgrown. Spectral soldiers. hikers have reported seeing apparitions of soldiers walking the ramparts or hearing the rhythmic sound of marching footsteps when no one else is around. The Happy Meeting Fortress, a story at Zifeng Pass, tells of a father and son who met by chance while the son was stationed there. They were so overcome with joy and grief that they died on the spot, and their spirits are said to linger. Ghostly hikers. Some accounts mention a mysterious ghostly hiker in the surrounding hills who calls out names in the dark to lure travelers. Investigation. The TV series Destination Truth even sent an expedition to investigate these supernatural reports, documenting the wall's eerie reputation among believers. Are you planning a trip to a specific section like Beijing or Mushanyu, or are you looking for more dark folklore from ancient China? The Huiguang Guildhall, in Beijing is one of China's most notorious haunted locations, with its spooky reputation dating back to the Qing dynasty. The legend of the ancient graveyard. The primary ghost story stems from the hall's construction in 1807. It was built atop an ancient graveyard, a move that supposedly disturbed the spirits of the dead. The stone-throwing ghost. The most famous legend involves a phantom voice that scolds visitors. It is said that if you throw a stone into the courtyard, a loud, angry shouting or scolding will be heard echoing through the air, even though there is no one visible in the area. The disfigured janitor. During the Republic of China period, a wealthy philanthropist converted the site into a home for the poor. To manage the property, he hired a janitor who was so severely disfigured by leprosy that he was shunned by society. The Guard of the Dead. Local folklore suggests that the janitor was so frightening that even the ghosts were afraid of him, keeping the spirits at bay during his lifetime. However, after he passed away, the hauntings were said to have returned with a vengeance. Day reports. Today, the building serves as the Beijing Opera Museum and a theater. Despite the lively performances and bright lanterns, visitors and staff have reported disembodied screaming, high-pitched screams and voices echoing in the courtyard late at night. Apparitions, shadowy figures seen moving through the wings of the opera stage. Would you like to know more about other haunted locations in Beijing, such as the infamous Koane No. 81 mansion? Located in the Dongcheng district of Beijing, the tomb of General Yuan Chonghuan is the center of one of the city's most enduring and tragic ghost stories. The Cursed General. A tragic execution. Yuan Chonghuan was a brilliant Ming Dynasty general who successfully defended the northern frontier against Manchu invaders. However, he was framed for treason by the Chongzhen Emperor and sentenced to death by lingqi, death by 1,000 cuts, in 1630. The cannibalistic mob. Believing he was a traitor, the angry citizens of Beijing reportedly bought and ate pieces of his flesh during the execution until only his head remained. The Faithful Guard. A loyal soldier named Shi stole the general's head and buried it in his own backyard. For nearly 400 years, 17 generations of the Shi family have guarded the tomb, fulfilling a deathbed promise to the general. Reported hauntings. The Restless Spirit. Locals and paranormal enthusiasts claim that General Yuan's ghost wanders the area at night. Vows of protection. It is said he vowed his soul would forever guard the Liaodong Peninsula, Some believe his spirit remains at the tomb to seek justice or continue his eternal watch over the land. Would you like to learn more about other haunted locations in Beijing or the history of the Ming Dynasty's fall?